Hello, it is Lord Haywire. I'm streaming some 2D4X. I had some issues with chat yesterday with being able to see chat, so I'm trying something new, which is gonna bounce this over here uh, because it wasn't working right, and I couldn't see chat, and so I missed a bunch of chats messages. Uh, let's see what this thing says. All right, well, this says it's working. I guess I could do a test, right? I am streaming some 2D4X today. That is a 2D4X game that I'm making that's open source. Uh, I'm testing right now, putting hellos over everywhere, making sure I can see it. Okay, everything is fine. Yesterday, we tested out the new Godot. This is a C# version of Godot .NET 4.4 Dev 3 in it. We were able to use their typed dictionaries after I came back and messed with it for a while. I couldn't get it to work at first, but I was doing it wrong, and now I'm doing it right. Which will solve many problems, and we're going to work on basically this panel. It's going to fill in with goods produced, inputs, and construction costs. These are the three things we're working on today. But the first thing we got to do is make it so that there's a script on this cost panel. But I actually decided I didn't like this name, this cost panel name. Like right when I opened this up, I was like, I don't like that name because I like to rename everything all the time. So I think it should probably be goods panel. It's just there's no good name for it. And that's the problem, is there's no good name for anything. Because I was thinking resources, but resources is used in the inspector, the word resources, and I'm trying not to use that because it gets confusing. I guess we'll say, whoops. I hit F2 and it does this sometimes when you got to be down here and it jumps to the top, but we actually are going to rename that. I think we'll say goods, and then why is this also low or case? That's good there. We'll rename this to goods. And then we're going to create a new script for this, and it is going to be in there. UI scenes? No, it's not. It's going to be in not recent. I always go from recent. I don't even know what to do here. Scripts, UI, and then we'll create a new one. I feel like I haven't created a new script in a long time. Hey, it didn't put in that stuff. Usually it puts in like stuff here, which I'm glad, because I guess it only does that with certain things. Not a panel container though. This is like the template for the panel container, I guess, an empty thing, which is fine. So we're gonna need an export in here. The export, so we got to put in these two things. We need a label, resource, so we need a label, resource. Oh, this has to be public too, because we're going to be using this a lot. That's the whole reason why we're doing this. Resource, no. Goods, label. And then let's actually put goods name, label, and then we'll do another export and we'll be public. I'm hoping to like just blow through some shit real fast here. I don't know why I have any confidence that's going to happen. And then this is going to be called for goods checkbox. And so this is a checkbox. Oh, we also need we'll get to it. And this is going to be use remnants. I think use remnants is fine. Checkbox. And then we're going to put a player space thing. How did I do this before? Using? No, it's not using. I just did it yesterday, and now I can't remember. This one doesn't have it. Oh, it's just namespace. That's what we want. Namespace. Namespace. There we go. I'm double checking like all of my chat all the time today because chat fucked up yesterday. Okay. Let's see. That's the two things that we need on here, and that's basically it. So let's make sure that that's saved. Let's go back to here. Let's hit this build button, and then we'll drag these things over. And once this is, I guess I haven't built. I feel like it takes longer the first time I build. When I open, we'll rename this too to match. This is resource amount. We could put another label in here. Nah, fuck it. Who cares? Goods name. Okay, so it shouldn't be name though. It should just be goods label. And that's fine. And this will go over here. And let's actually go back to this. And actually, it shouldn't be goods. It should just be good. Good. Is it if you have a, it's got to be, whoops. It's got to be an individual good, not multiple goods. Doesn't that seem like that was last time? Maybe not. Come on, get your shit together. All right. It's a good, not a goods. All right, so there we have that. So then we're going to go back to where it's saying this thing is not used, and we're going to rename a bunch of crap here because now at this point it's not. This should then be good. It's no longer cost. We're going to go good panel container, which probably is going to break this thing over here. So we'll we'll build again. We'll go over to here, and we'll go over to here. Yeah, it broke it. Then we'll drag in this thing. Except now this says goods. Jesus Christ. We're going to do that. And then we're going to save this. And then we're going to go back over to here. And we're going to go, we're going to close this. Well, we're going to rename this. We're going to save this. We're going to close this thing. We're going to go back over here. Where was that thing? Scripts, UI. Rename this thing. I just like to rename stuff all day long. These things have to match though, so there they go. All right. Back to our other thing. We probably just broke something else though. Let's make sure. That's fine. Go back over to here. Whatever this thing is. And then we're gonna, the good panel container, this is not a panel container, or no, it is a pack scene. But when we unpack this thing, which is in this instantiate here, we're gonna make this thing a good panel container. And we're gonna change this to a good panel container. We're gonna call this a good, well, wait, go back, rename this thing. Good. Let's rename the whole thing. Panel container. And then there we go. And construction material cost. So I think we shouldn't. What's your problem now? Good panel container, and oh, we can't have this thing named the same is the problem. This one we're gonna put, this is a packed scene, so we'll go back up here and we'll rename this to packed scene. So it's really long. We'll jump back down to here. Packed scene. There we go. And Then from here, we will go over to here and rebuild this again because I just renamed this thing for the 7th time. And we'll put this over here. Oh, not that one. And there's that. I was curious if I was naming these pack scenes at the end, but I wasn't, which makes sense. That would be weird to do that, I guess. This, actually, we should rename this thing, too. We can rename it from right here. No, you know what? We are in construction costs, so we're going to use this packed scene for a bunch of different shit. But in this particular case, it is going to become it is being attached to the cost, so we will use that. And then this was commented out because we actually want this thing to be dot whatever I called that. What is your problem? Its problem is that it needs to be this thing actually. And then we'll put a space there and a good label. There we go. And then we'll have this thing there, and let's run it and see what happens. I feel like I've missed something that I needed to drag over because I just renamed things 12 different times. All right, so if we go to here, now over on our Fisher's shed, we have influence and use remnants. So this is right, except, man, that is hard to see as that's a checkbox. But there is a checkbox there. Influence 78. And this is expanding correctly. Maybe we want the use remnants to go to the other side. I wonder if we can do that. I bet you we cannot do that. Sometimes when you change this stuff, yeah, it does. That did work. Oh, except that the checkbox itself is. It is nice you can click anywhere on here to toggle that checkbox. It's really hard to see that. I think we'll have to worry about that later, but I should probably put a note. I wonder if we could change like the background color or something. Or this color. Visibility. I'm going to move this over to my other. What the fuck? Something started with my computer where it hates to be dragged over. I wonder if the monitors. I'm going to look real quick. I wonder if they got moved. One's different size. See, it's at the top. I was thinking maybe this got moved like that or something. Yeah, let's see if we can change this self-modulate to some different color. It doesn't seem to be automatically. Let's make it really strange. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be having an effect on this. Oh, it did. It did after I closed that little thing. Maybe we can get this to stay here while I do this. So we can all see it together. The answer is no. We can't. Well, we can see it here, I guess. And it's still applying over there. That's just changing the fuck you, it jumped, it did that thing. That's just changing the text. Well, it kind of changes the outline, but what I want is this thing to be more obvious. So let's reset that back, because that thing is pretty hard to see. Definitely don't want to check that. You guys can't see what I just did, but it made it move all over the place. I don't think there's anything we can do about that right now. We'll have to deal with it in the beautification process, but that checkbox is really hard to see. Motherfucker. There must have been, like in Windows 11, there's all those things you can bounce them off the top, and you can like pick the different, uh, the different areas of the screen you want to use. I think they like must have on Windows 10 pushed out like half of an update, because now like man, see like look at that, it wants to stick there so bad. I'm moving my mouse like a ton when right there. It actually mostly only happens in Godot, but I guess maybe I don't drag stuff back and forth that much. I guess that's not true. But yeah, definitely it's a fucking annoying. Anyways, I think we're just gonna have to deal with that. Why is this thing's focus set to annoy me? I bet you it is. It sure is. Focus none. All right, well, that's good enough for now. Man, it's fucking invisible though. I wonder if it's the panel container. If we make the panel container itself, that's probably what we should do. It's the panel container is the problem. What happens if we make you go down here like that? What does this look like? It can't see shit. It doesn't look like it affected it. You can kind of see it. Let's rerun it just to make sure here. And you can see it better, but it sure looks worse. Okay, what if we change this? If we put this back up, so that's nice and dark, but we change like the color to, yeah, whatever. I don't give a shit. Blue. That doesn't seem to do anything because these other things are sitting on top of it. What if we go to like 50% here? None of that looks good. It all looks like trash. I just think, the box is so invisible. You're never going to know that you can click on that. And I actually don't like this after I've seen it a little bit, where it's the text is on the left. Could we center the text maybe? Let's do center. That might be better. We could put an icon of some sort. Oh, look at this. We need to translate this shit too. I don't think we have that in there yet. I don't think we have the phrase use remnants. I guess we can finish this. I was going to go to something else real quick, but this is up. Phrase use remnants for construction. Is that used somewhere? Let's look at our real thing here. Phrase, use remnants for construction. Okay, so that's why we didn't have this use remnants thing. Because we were going to have a button that applied to all of them. Okay, so that's fine if we do that. What does this look like now, though? That actually looks okay for this. What? I guess we're just going to kick this problem down the road. So then if we go to construct, we don't have the materials, I guess, for this other thing. So if we go to construct here, now we have this button, which works. Okay, so we'll leave it like that for now. We'll save this thing, but we are going to use the same thing. This is still, well, we can't see it here. Let's redo this and look at it again. And then we'll have to do some sort of check. Mackie, how's it going? We'll have to do some sort of check. Wayne, how's it going? I guess it's fine. The panel solves that one problem. that we were having yesterday, except now it's all go back to normal here. Are you gonna know what we're talking about? There we go. I think it did know. Wynn's working on his own game, and we were just looking at it on my Discord. It looks pretty awesome. Let's see. Yeah, so this panel does make this at least offset enough for the construction cost. So now we got to fix it so there's other things on the list. We just put yesterday just the faction resources that it costs, and I just put some random number in there. So let's go back to our code. Yeah, and then we're gonna. So what we need in here basically is we might turn this into a method because we're gonna need it. We're gonna need a couple of things here that happen. County resource cost. There might be a bunch of things that are using this. We want this to go in the same grid. I guess we don't need to change this. I was just thinking about, do we need to I was like staring at this like, I don't think we do. We actually have some. We're going to have to, no, not for this part. I was going to say we need to have it know when to turn that on and off, but not for this part. We're going to have it, we'll have to do like, I guess we will. We will have to have it on there. So here we go. So we have influence 78, wood 5,000, and remnants 1. And the reason why there's no construction button is because we don't have 5,000 wood. So that is exactly what we want this to look like. Construction costs are now here. It's ugly as shit, but we'll make it better at some point. So we do need to know, and we could probably just put it right here. If county improvement data status is not equal, no, is equal to none. I think that's what those are. Goods. What did I call this thing? Good panel these need to be, this needs to be inside these things. And this will probably almost definitely put we'll probably most definitely make a little method. I made those methods yesterday that I don't actually think we're going to use, but I'm going to leave them around. Whoops, I missed part of it. Actually, we don't need this shit here. If we leave that off, actually, we'll leave this here. We'll leave this here as a just in case, but in reality, we'll just leave that off and we'll have it turned on elsewhere. This doesn't need to be here, actually. It is functional, utilitarian. It's kind of, you know, when I stream on my other I talk about this all the time, but when I stream on my other channel and there's an indie game where they have UIs that look like this, I know that there's something generally wrong with the game, if that makes sense. There's like, you know, it's like some sort of attention to detail where I'm like, oh, there's something else going to be going wrong. Whether they're hard to read and stuff, I don't know. Not always, but generally, and especially like we were talking about Unity and Godot and stuff, I can spot like a Unity UI that where it's like they haven't changed any of the defaults. A lot of times it's like the scroll bars. Like this is the default looking scroll bar, you know. So that works for that. And we actually don't need this. I could just delete this, but I'm going to leave it there. And we'll make this different too. We can probably get rid of this as long as the good panel container packed scene has the use remnants box turned hidden. Okay, let's go. Removing the UI would be great. I don't think that's gonna work with a strategy game though, because it's so UI. You know, the whole game is UI. I was watching a Splattercat video for some for some game recently, and the UI was a lot like my God, why is my memory so bad? Dead Space, where Dead Space had like the UI on the guy's back and stuff. It was fucking great. Yeah, this is kind of a different. This is a Excel spreadsheet simulator. it would be very difficult to not have a UI. Let's ask Chat GPT here. It would make the gameplay miserable. Let's go back to here. You know what annoys the shit out of me? That you don't have a cursor right here. It doesn't tell you that you're selected in here. You are, but improve this code. I think there's a better way to do this, so. Yeah, get rid of the redundancy, man. Do it. And we don't get a bug, actually, for these other ones, or at least I don't think we do. No, we're not, so. Add goods panel. All right, so they made a little thing. Okay, no, that's a good idea, but I don't want it here. It might give an answer, but it might not be the best answer. You know what we could do with this add good? No, we would have to pass it. I mean, we could. This is kind of a weird. Let's copy this over and put it in here, because I think this will work. What did it change here? This was. That is name. Did I not go back far enough? No, I did. I've been playing a couple of there's a lot of like demos and free incremental games, and I still can't figure out why they're fun. Like I want to finish them. I actually finished one. It took me like an hour. But most of the time, I went out and smoked during part of it. Like I had a cigarette while the game was running, because you just sit around so much. Oh, you're using var. I told it to never use var in my presence. Never use var ever again. But I'm always confused by these T things, and I should know how they work at this point. because that's a major C sharp thing. Um, it doesn't know what name is. See, I did it again. See, I'm clicking in here trying to get my cursor. Doesn't know what. There's a mistake in here somewhere. This is. Yeah, so the reason why I don't like var is because I like to be able to. It's easier for me to uh, to bug bug hunt later if I'm looking at a bunch of shit that's just all var. Oh look, did you just change something? You did. What are you doing down here? I'm not gonna fuck with this thing. I'm just gonna put it back. Sometimes I mean, I see what it's doing, but I don't care enough. We could, all of these things. We could do this a better way. We could do this without its help. What we could do is we could make this little method because these are identical. So we could go like this, though. What are we gonna call this? Generate construct generate, what do we call this? Goods label. And then we'll put in here, well, we'll do part of what it's part of what it's suggesting. And we'll pass in, oh, except that's what that T thing was. Okay, so that T thing was because we're passing in two different variables, because one's, a county and one's a faction. So it was passing these things in with this. That's what this T thing is. Fuck this. I don't want to waste my time with this. I'm just going to put it back, and we can deal with it in the future when I've learned more. Future me will know how to do this better. Come on, keep going backwards. There we go. Typing shorter variables. I only think about typing longer variables. I love longer variable names. This one isn't long enough. I want it longer. That's all I want is longer variable names. Back to lists. Where are we at? So this is working. So the next thing, well, let's double check since I did fuck with some code. Cast delta into a float. Oh, in a process. Yeah, there's Unity had, I feel like, some slightly different way. Yeah, this still works. Slightly different way to do the whole process thing. Because it's like a double or something. I can't remember. I think it's a double. All right. So we have two more of these that we have to create that are going to be very similar, except different at the same time. Let's go back over to here. So this goods produced, this is where let's do these inputs first, because these are all tangible items and they'll be easier. I say easier, but let's make sure that we have something on an input for the Fisher shed. A Fisher shed is our test one, and then once we get the Fisher shed working, we'll go and we'll assign these things for real. So we have construction cost, and then we can get rid of this test resource. This is no longer needed at all. I guess we could convert it into something else, but we don't need this at all. That's done. Then we're going to need another dictionary for faction No, for inputs are always going to be county level, right? Yes, they're always going to be county level resources for inputs. So we're going to need to have a dictionary for that. And I don't think we have one. No, those are resource type. What are we doing with these things? Okay, we have a dictionary. No, we have an array down here. This is going to change. This is going to be a dictionary. Can it be an array? It can just be an array. No, it needs to be a dictionary. What's your solution to the C# string creation issue? Are you not generating names? What is the C# string creation issue? I don't know it. I am generating from a list of names, so everyone's name that's in here is from a list of names. Stephanie King, it's almost Stephen King. So I have a list, a list of 100 first names and 100 last names, and it goes through and just randomly picks, between them. And then all the counties are, I manually type them in. This is back to that tedious thing. So we're going to have to change this. This is going to break something, but that's okay. And I think we probably... This is no longer true. We use the faction... I think we should just move this inputs as well. If it needs 2 or more resources for input, we need to know the type and amount of each resource. Okay, so these are notes for my future self, which is my current self. Construction costs are going to come first. This is going to come here. Amount of construction. Actually, maybe we do want this down where it was. I was thinking we could reorganize this a little bit. Non-tangible goods, non-tangible good. What is this thing? This is my attempt at that other thing. So we're going to change that too when we get to it. Input. No, this isn't the right spot, but we're going to get rid of this. And we're going to make this the dictionary. Dictionary. Every time you generate a string, it becomes a new string. While in GD script, one can somehow add 2 strings without creating a new one. Maybe that's part of my issue with the translations. So that thing that I just did. No, that one's not a good example, but sometimes the translations don't work unless I bust them out into smaller increments. This is going to be an int, and this is going to actually be the resource type. County resource data. But I'm not sure I've encountered that. Input resources. Let's rename this to goods. I like goods better. And I'm probably using this somewhere, so let's do it like this. Maybe I'm not. And let's put a note in here, even though it seems pretty obvious right now, but all input goods that are needed to create... Oh, fuck. You know what we might have to do? No, that will be... In county resources, we're probably going to be able... Not be able to. We're going to probably have to put a thing that can be, say, replaced by... yeah, in here we're going to have to put a thing, which I guess I'll do right now, that you can replace it with a remnant. Swappable. And we need this, and all of the export stuff is at the top, so I guess I'll put this. remnants. You know, a long time ago, people were telling me like use less strings because I was using strings for a lot of instead of enums basically because I this is back once again you know I didn't know the discovery of enums for me was quite a uh, replaceable. We'll do replaceable. That sounds dumb. Remnant replaceable? No, that can be replaced. Uh, but yeah, I was having a lot of strings, and someone was saying that like there's issues with matching strings or something. I can't quite remember, but so when I switched to enums, I don't think I have any of that left in here. I where I'm comparing strings, I don't think I do. Uh, the word I'm trying to think of the word that I want to use. Swappable. I want it. The word is. What is the word if something is replaceable by something else? Interchangeable? No. Substitute? Substitute. That will be substitutable. Remnant. Interchangeable. I don't want to use the word use remnants because it's not what. So basically, what we're saying is that this thing can be swapped out with remnants. So you can click a button. This thing is, fuck. I don't like that. I don't want to be stuck on this. So I'm just gonna say use remnant. Substitutable remnant substitutable. That's not how you spell this, but let's put this up here. And then I wish you could have this substitutable. I wish you could have this spell check on in here. Yes, enums solved everything. All of my problems were solved by enums, and I actually love them. They're very, very useful. All right, so we have this. We have our input goods. All input goods that are needed to create the finished product, or the finished good. All right, so we have a little note in there. So on here, we need to go back. I save this. We need to go back to here. We need to build this thing. We need to look here, and then we're going to do the same thing we did yesterday, but we're going to do it different. You know, it's going to be in a different spot. It's going to be down here. And then I got to go, what do we want? For the Fisher's Shed, this is not construction. It actually isn't any of these items, but let's say it's going to need wood, and we're going to need 10 of them. This is not what it's going to need, but we need a test thing here. For the Fisher's Shed, we'll see, but I think we're going to need eventually some sort of generic, like, shitty tool, like tools of some sort. The input for the Fisher's Shed should be, we gotta write this other thing, but I was just making sure I didn't have some other craziness. I mean, all we did was add this, change this dictionary, but wood, actually, it could use a little tiny bit of wood, but I think that we'll deal with that later, but I think we're going to have to, like, as I add resources, we're going to be adjusting this shit all the time. But we need something for this test, but I think, Okay, so back to this thing. Generate construction costs. Then we're going to need a generate. It's not going to be in default, though. It's going to be under. Actually, it is going to be in default. So for this, we can, and this is higher up on the thing. So we're going to generate input goods, and we probably will want to turn this into a thing like it did, because we're going to have another one of these that's almost identical. Yeah, this is going to be, this whole thing is going to be almost identical. It's going to go through the list. It's only going to have this top part. And what we could do, let's make all three of these things, because there's also the production goods. Let's make all three of these. And so then we'll go back and we'll make them, we'll pretty it up at the end, because I think we're going to have a bunch of duplicate shit, because this is basically the same, except we have a different list that we're looking at, like this part is, and except this is going to be whatever that thing was called. Do you prefer enums or delegates? I don't know what a delegate is, so I'm going to have to say enums. County improvement data, what did we call that? Input goods. See, so like this is identical. We could create one of these as a method and just pass in the list. And then we could use that T thing probably to pass in this other list. They're both called name, huh? Well, that's good that I didn't name one like faction resource name and the other one county resource name. This part's going to be different, so let's fix that. This one is going to be so on here, I got to look at this to have a reference. On here, it's going to have, we don't want use remnants when it's in none, so we want that to hide. But once it's into the construction phase, we still want it hidden. And we want it, once it's built, so we're going to go back to this, and we're going to have to fix this shit, because this is not going to work how I wanted it, what I was thinking with producing and hiring and all this crap. With these enums, we're going to want it to go, so if this is not equal, if this is equal to hiring, see, yeah, this hiring thing, where are we using this? Let's get, and I remember talking or thinking about this, we don't need hiring and producing, we just need, because we were going to think about having that label that said it was hiring, but it was just like, it's one day, it doesn't matter. So let's get rid of this thing. Let's rename this to, I guess we're keeping that. Oh, get the fuck out of here. County improvement status. Yeah, now I have two of them. We'll get rid of one. Producing without workers. Go away. There we go. A delegate is a type that represents references to methods with a particular parameter list, and the return type is what the doc says. So, are you talking about? So, there is. I need two things open. Did I not open up my thing today? I didn't even open it up. Let me get my GitHub on here. So on my list here, so this in progress also has things like, uh, like starting tool tipping and create translations for a key. Oh yeah, this thing is something like I need to learn because like a question mark doesn't fly in all languages, so I got to figure out like how that works. So there's a bunch of like things in here that are like kind of like figure out breakpoints and Visual Studio. One time I really needed that, but then I haven't needed it ever since. Oh, here's some, you know, questions about stuff, but this is the one I was looking at. Dependency injection is on my list of things that I need to learn, and I've watched a bunch of tutorials on it, and I just haven't had a need for it yet, except I have this, we're going to move this around here, except I have this other game that I'm working on, and I think it's the perfect spot for me to figure out dependency injection. I don't remember what I called it, though. This was back to that thing where I said I wish you could search inside this stuff. Because I can just search dependency injection. It wasn't that long ago. It's not melee weapons. I think it's this one. So basically, you have a vehicle, you have crew that are assigned to a weapon. The weapon can fire different ammunition. The weapons are all different, like, so think BattleTech, but you have a crew member. It's, the BattleTech always has one pilot because there's only one pilot in a mech, but this is, we have, a crew at a turret, let's say, that's a machine gun that can fire armor piercing rounds. And so I was talking to ChatGPT. Is that what you call it? Talking to it? I was chatting with ChatGPT, and I was trying to figure out the best way to implement this because the crew positions also can change in combat. Like, let's say the crew member's face gets blown into garbage, it's just a big puddle of blood. The next guy can move over. The guy who's the loader of the gun can move over, right? Think tanks. Tanks, half tracks is actually the. Think half tracks. So I was asking all these questions, and it was like, hey, do these resources. And then I was like, I bet you this is the best time for me to learn dependency injection, because it seems like with dependency injection, there's a lot of stuff if you have duplicates. And what I mean by duplicates is if you have the same thing, like a weapon, let's say, or a duck, that are very similar, and you want to make sure they all have the same methods inside of them. In 2D4X, I haven't run into where I need that, where it needs like these similar things. But in here, yeah, so I asked it, and they're like, yeah, of course you can do it with dependency injection. So it seems like this is where I'm going to start working on this to try to learn the dependency delegate stuff. I think that's where this would apply. I'm not sure, though. It's like I gotta keep trying to get my knowledge expanded, but at the same time, it can't be too far expanded. Otherwise, I'm just confused by because I missed like the in between. But like, here's like new weapon, cannon, and this is gonna do something. But yeah, this is where I'm hoping to learn the next level of C#. Final example using factory pattern, and we were talking about patterns in another stream too. Like there's these different patterns, and I what interfaces. So then I just kept asking it. Interfaces are the thing with the different crew positions and see they all got the I for an interface to make sure that they have the same shit. I don't know. I need to mess with this, and I actually thought about doing it, messing with it a little bit last night, but then I decided to. What did I end up doing? I don't know, playing a video game or something. The interesting thing about delegates is if it's a method without an overload, then you can put it in an array and simply call it by dynamic invoke. I'll have to look. I'll put that on my list and look some more about delegates, because I know I looked at it briefly, but I obviously delegates learn. I looked at it briefly, but I didn't. This thing should actually be higher. This is the solution, I think, to a different problem. Go up, go up. You can actually be above this, though. I need to clear out some of this. The try pattern I did look at, and I still don't. There's different times. I'm going to copy this over and put this in here, actually. And I'm going to go over to here and make sure that I... Whoops. All right. This is back to the thing, too, like where I was saying doing the C# tutorial classes where they're like Microsoft has like the learning thing and it's just so boring. I gotta like learn the next level doing something that's not boring too. You know. I want to unclick this. I'm permanently clicked over here. Oh well. What were we doing? So producing, okay, what are we doing here? Oh, this is part of my attempt. Yeah, we'll get to this. We'll get to this. We'll get to fixing that. There's going to be like a couple of changes here. I don't need to look at population. So if this is producing, because it's not under construction, then we want the use remnants to appear. That's what we need here. And so producing, did I already type this thing in here? No, if status is producing, then we will show. And I think we'll put an else in here. I mean, we need an else in here. Then we'll copy this and we'll put this down here and we'll put hide. Shit, an hour's already passed. I guess I accomplished one thing so far. And then let's see if this works how I want it to. Did I put this in default too, though? We need this to also be here, though. See, here's that hiring label that I think we're going to get rid of this. And I actually don't want that there. I want it in the same order. There's something missing from... So this construct panel container Show construction panel container show. That's going to be output. Good. I think this is where we actually want this. This is, I don't know what the fuck this is. Well, what is this? What is this? We'll check on that in a second. But this needs to be up here too. It actually probably needs to be there. And then, let's see. I mean, maybe that's true. Maybe I don't have the right level of expectations, and I should read tax code to see have better expectations of what. Oh, we gotta get rid of this crap. These are like the temp. Oh, we got all sorts of bytes. Like, what the fuck? We don't have any of this shit here. Yeah, and then I would be like extremely excited to do uh, the tutorials. I have a feeling this problem is actually happening because this is empty. I think I went through this at one point and tested this already though. If they're not initialized, I think it skips over them. Did I do this thing wrong though? Maybe I did because I don't, let's go back to our Fisher's shed. Did I add this right? I'm already on my Fisher's shed here. I didn't do it right. So let's do this again. Where's our wood? And then whatever I said, 10. And I think I forgot to hit that button. But even so, let's see if we get 4 of these this time. That will tell us if it's the empty ones that's causing the problem. Then we'll just do like a null check or some shit. Now we still got 5 of them. We need to get rid of these things. Let's do that first. These test ones, whatever they were. Input grid. Just delete all this crap. And then let's do this again. I don't think the things are, I should take a break too. Yeah, there's something. This is the wrong spot where it would be added anyways. And oh, we got something else is going on because now we got, yeah. So this thing is, we're gonna have to fix something. But I'm gonna take a quick break. This is the wrong spot anyways. We need a different parent. But anyways, I'm gonna take a quick break and I will be back in less than 5 minutes. Let me stop my music that you guys can't hear, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back, and let me turn on my break timer, and let me change my music that you guys can't hear. Okay, everything's good. The world is working. What were we doing? Oh yeah, we had a bug where it didn't like this. Well, we don't want this thing to be its child. I don't know if we have a. I think we do. Maybe outputs grid container, construction material cost. That's a nice long one there. Remnants for construction. It would be a grid container. I don't see it. So we're gonna need another grid container. We're gonna need inputs. Inputs panel. We don't need this one anymore. Outputs panel. We don't need that anymore. But we do need. I guess I'll put it right here. Grid container inputs. Grid container. And then we'll go back over here and we'll build this shit and then we'll drag it over. And I don't think that's the problem with these bugs, though. It's probably something obvious, but I don't think it's that one. We first need to go over here. Outputs, inputs. And then let's run this again. Like I said, I don't think this is the problem, though. It's something else dumb going on. How many years do you have to go, if you're still around, how many years do you have to go to school for German tax stuff? County resource, key value, input goods. This is where 2 years? That's not too bad. It's still it's still pretty long. Do you get like a certificate or something? Some sort of oh, I still didn't change this though. This should be inputs. And we're instantiating the goods panel thing. That should still be there. Yeah, it's still there because that's going to work for all of these. And then we're putting this label. I feel like it's oh, on the job training is the way to go, especially for something like that. Because there's probably all sorts of ins and outs that you know that you got to learn in practical use. Let's look at this resource data. I have a feeling I know what it is. I know what it is. This motherfucker. What is this under? This motherfucker. It's this thing. It's this clusterfuck. I hate this thing. Where did we put this? It is after non-tangible goods. Every time non-tangible goods, input goods equals I feel like this isn't right, but we'll have to test that somehow too. I'm going to put a note that we're going to have to test that because that could be a huge problem. Test that the dictionaries are really copying and not duplicating. There we go. Convert to issue. Started putting a comment after every variable that I declared. What do you mean? Maybe I should do that. Come on, come on. Just as like a summary of what it does, or with these, I have another test thing in here, like right around here. And let's make this more verbose. Test that the dictionaries, the goods dictionaries. Okay. It explains what it does and depends. Yeah, makes sense. Like my memory, as you can probably tell, is terrible. So it's even. I think I got to do it even more than I. Okay, now we have 4. All right, so this is the problem. It's not. Let's go back up to here. Did I create these things? These ones, for some reason, don't need it. That's strange. But this one does, huh? Wonder why. Yeah. I have a lot of spaghetti going on too, and there's things that are, it's back to like also like trying to make this county data less massive. Moving stuff out of there makes it so that I gotta like dig down and all that shit. Why doesn't this one have that problem then? So these ones, I feel like, let's look at over here. Let's look at whatever. Garden. They just say nil. And there aren't any construction costs in here. And we need to test it with empty ones because some aren't going to have inputs. Like, I'm not even sure we'll do Fisher's Shed have an input. Probably maybe like would have one, but like the research office isn't the primitive research office. A lot of the primitive stuff is not going to, they just suck. And the more expensive, the better ones will have inputs. But I'm pretty sure that this is related to this not being initialized. But the thing is, these other ones aren't initialized, so why aren't they having the issue? Like, they should all be having this. What we could do, I suppose. Oh, that's a good idea, though. I like that idea. Like, if you see something and you're like, this could. So I do that occasionally, but I should probably do it more. Like, if you see something like this should be turned into one method or something like that, or you can, or you could turn this into a for loop or whatever. I like that. And so, I work on this on the weekends, and even that one week, I often forget what the hell I was doing. That's why at the end of each stream, I try to put like what I need to do next. And it also makes me feel good to mark issues off. I'm pretty sure that the problem is, and we can actually do a simple test here. Inputs count, and then we can just put in this here. I mean, we know that this is nothing's here though for 4 of them. I guess I could count and make sure that there are a total of 5. One has something in there. But why didn't it have a problem with it on the other one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then did this move the new line? It did, yeah. So it's this thing. And I did that. I think yesterday I put a initialization into one of these, and then I took it away later. See, like there's one. We'll just initialize this list. Yeah. Mm, yeah. Mm, yes. Yes, we will do that. And then let's see what happens. In this, I'll probably put a note in there, like we were just talking about. If this works, like why does this one need it and the other one? Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah. For some reason, this one needs to be initialized, but the faction and county construction costs don't. Why? This is public? This is public. Godot Collection Dictionary. Godot Collection Dictionary. Down here in this thing, this nightmare of a pile of shit. It's just copying them over. I don't know. A week from now, or 6 months from now, suddenly we're going to start getting errors on that other thing, and I'm going to wonder why. Okay, you know what we also should do, just to keep an eye out? Let's switch this to Spanish, and then we'll see if there's, like, translations that need to be done. That way, we can keep an eye on that so I don't fall behind on that shit. But this is working. The input goods is working now. So now we can do the output goods. Actually, we didn't test one thing. Let's construct. We can't construct this because I made it too expensive. Let's fix this thing. Fisher's Shack. We want this to be 1. And I do like that once you've added this, you can just edit it in here. Maggie, did you say that if you've started your epic game that you're creating? I can't remember. I have a sneeze coming on. Okay, this is all translating correctly. Looks like it. Something's wrong here, though. We want to still be able to see the construction cost. Oh, you're already 4 years in. Nice. Yeah, we're missing the construction. So I think the problem with that actually is I just don't have that in that switch, this death switch. Once again, you know, if I saw, we can just do it up here. If I could look at like CK3's code to see how, like, do they have giant switches like this? So this is production. So no, this is under construction and we need this. Check for constructions. Generate. Yeah, see, I think we already have this in here. No, yeah, not check construction cost. Check for construction resources. This is in the wrong spot too. This should be here. And I think we just have this hot, yeah. This should be oh shit. Are we using this? Producing without work, or what did I have here? Just go back. Go back. I'm in the wrong spot. This should be under construction. We have show. Why is it not here? Cost to, do we get a bug? Or 5? We didn't know. We didn't. So we got this. This is, let's look in the remote. Maybe it's, hey, it didn't do the fucking bounce off the thing. Maybe it's just hidden. And I have this in the wrong spot because I did mess with that. This could be on like the hiring, well, what I renamed. We're in the wrong spot here. All these margin containers and shit. This is under the current. Here's our county improvement that we're looking at right now. I think it's under here. Input grids isn't the problem, it's this one. And this is, so the panel is there. The construct button's gone, which is what we want. Construction material grid is empty, so that it's not that, it's not generating it. No one has a code base like that. I just want to see what like a professional finished code looks like. So it's not regenerating. When we move this over, I wonder how we're moving that over. It should. It could be under producing, but it shouldn't. It should be its type or its whatever. Can we look at that? I don't think we can. It would be this, and it would be. I don't think I made that. I think I made it private. Let's look. No, it is public. It's not exported though. That's the problem. We can't see that. I think because I was having other issues with seeing that stuff. Man, time's flying today. Time flew yesterday too. These things are here. What the fuck was I gonna check on? Why did I want to see this? Oh, I wanted to see its status. What status are you on, my friend? Status 5. Thank you, Godot Inspector. What is status 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is it real? No. 5. What's this thing? What is my counting? 1, 2, 3. Okay, no, we're right. You gotta start with 0. First time I've ever programmed was today. Okay, so 5 is under construction. Whoops, we don't want that. First time. So that's not the issue. It is under construction. And so update output goods not produced. Generate input goods. Check for construction resources. Generate construction costs. Am I just, oh my God. It's this one is what, we're just missing the thing. Construction show. This one needs to go. Check for construction resources. That's to make the construct button appear, but we actually don't need to check after that point. So this needs to go away. And then what we need to do is hide that, which is here. And then we'll go from here. And I think we just had the wrong thing in there. I say we, but I mean me. We'll construct this. There we go. Perfect. I mean, perfect for now. But that's all we need to check for this first second. Then we're going to need to do the goods part, which is once again private void generate output goods. See, these are all very, very similar. So like I said, I think we're going to be able to combine all of these things together. So use remnants is always just going to be hidden. Did I have use remnants over here? No, we have a new thing called only produce. That's why there was 3 of these different things. So for only produce, what we'll do is we'll do something similar here. On producing, we'll show this, but we'll change this. When you checkbox that, I think there's a better way to do this. I'm trying to think. So once you checkbox it, we'd have to differentiate by what the same checkbox does. So I think we'll put another checkbox in here. So we'll over here, we'll just have another checkbox. Actually, fuck this. Don't do it that way. Duplicate this thing, and we'll go only produce. And then we'll put in here only produce blah blah. That way we can tell if it's fucked up. Actually, we're gonna fix it right now. So phrase only produce. I guess we're gonna do a capital, and then we'll I don't know why I keep selecting that solo production. Yeah, it's another thing I need to learn. Spanish pronunciation. This is for translations. This is the localization. This is the localization thing. Oh, it's not going to work, though. I got to close this. This is for, so I can switch between languages right now. I only have English and Spanish. I only speak English, but Spanish is the one I guess I'm most familiar with. And instead of going back and doing it so basically, as I was working on it, I was like, one day I'll get to localization, and I decided that it was so much work to go back and try to retranslate this shit that I'm trying to keep up to pace. And there are certain things that I still haven't even translated. So I swapped it over to Spanish just to kind of keep an eye on things that I haven't translated yet. Like this thing I haven't translated. Obviously, these won't change the name, but like scavengeable resources, all this needs to be translated. But on this, I've been trying to keep on top of it. So we have this. We did construct. Only produce is not being translated yet because we haven't done that. But But let's go back over to here and let's delete these test things wherever they are. And we'll have 2 checkboxes. Adjustable builders. Where are we at here? Construction cost grid. Input, output. You can be deleted. And then we need another, did I put it here already? I might have already put it up here. Output grid. Why is this one public? I don't think we need that public. Outputs grid container. The game loop. It's similar to like Dominions 5 or CK3, where you'd be, expanding, you would be declaring war on people. I want to have a more robust diplomacy, though. Not like CK3 at all, because it's post-apocalyptic, so it's supposed to take place like tomorrow after a disease hits, and like only 1 in 10,000 people have survived the disease. And then, wars have been going on once the disease hits, There's a 70s TV show called Survivors that I got the idea from. I wanted to have a game where you keep track of all of the, you keep track of all of the people. But the problem is, if you have a lot of people in the game, it's going to be a problem. So I was like, I got to get rid of a bunch of people so you can keep track. If we're going to keep track of everyone who exists, so disease, and then wars. So that should be, we have the output grid container. We're going to go back, output goods. This is going to be output. I think I've had an S in there. This is going to generate that. This is going to put the label. This is going to say, we're going to always hide this one. And then we're going to show if it's producing, we're going to show the other one, which is, what did I call it? Use. I didn't put it in here though. It's not there. What did I call that thing? Goods panel. Export. Only produce checkbox. Yeah, I highly recommend that 70s Survivors show. I think it's 3 seasons. I actually was, that's not what I wanted. I had to work in the office, and I was waiting for internet, and I noticed that on my computer I took to work, it had it sitting on the desktop. Yeah, it's only 3 seasons only, and they're very English though. I always have to warn everybody. There's no action or anything. It's just a if you're waiting for an action-packed thing, there's no action. Just people wandering around being English. 70s English too. So they're very polite, and the whole thing's very, very strange. But I really like it because what do you do if like everyone's dead? So we got that. We got to drag this thing over here. I've noticed that there's like this thing that happens, and it just started happening on this Dev 3, or at least that I've noticed. Did I not click this? Man, it took a sweet amount of time. That if I go back and forth, it sometimes does something. I wonder what is causing it. Like I see things flash up on the screen. I don't know what that is. All right, so now we have this goods produce thing, and this will know what I'm talking about here. Only produce checkbox show, and then only produce checkbox hide. So we're always going to hide that, and if it's under the producing thing, and then we got to put this somewhere. So we need the default to have this. I also didn't put this in the... We're going to have to look at this thing. This is a thing that I'm remembering what this is. We need to change this. This is for things that don't produce anything, like research. It doesn't produce anything tangible. What do I have on my clipboard here? I think we're going to get rid of this hiring label. Get rid of you. Cut you. So in the default, we want this thing to... This should be up here. I mean, it'd be easier if I just put all this crap at the bottom, but I kind of want it to be in the same order as this. I was like, is there a space there? And there shouldn't be, but I don't know. More of a fantasy guy. What does TES stand for? Have you played Dominions? You should check out Dominions find whatever version is cheapest. If you're into fantasy games, it's probably like the king of fantasy strategy games. It's turn-based, and it's pretty complicated if you've never played it. I've been playing it for the Elder Scrolls. Yeah. So construction, this is actually not in the same order. This isn't in the right order at all. I should probably not give a shit, right? I should just not give a shit. Construction first, and then what do I have? It should be right here. Generate output goods. And then we need to generate our input goods, which should already be here, which they're right here. And then we can cut this. And then we can, on our under construction, we also need this, and then awaiting player assignments, a whole different ball game over here. And then under producing, this is where it's going to get a little... Under construction label is not... Why is this in this order? This shit's all fucked up. But we need... We're not really here yet. Whoops. Oh, I got nothing on my clipboard. But these things are going to need to be here. So we'll put these here. And then what we'll do is we'll stop this thing. Yeah, the Dominions is like one of my favorite games. I've been playing it for 20, 25. No, not that Dominion. They made that game after Dominion. The one that I'm talking about is Dominions with an S. The newest one is this one over here, but they're all about the same. The combat's very, very strange, but you get used to it. So it keeps track of all your people too. But like these are the gods. You basically play as a god that's trying to spread your dominion across the whole. I'm seeing if there's a map picture. Of course, there's probably not a map picture. Yeah, there's no map. There's no world map picture for some reason. I don't know why they decided to prioritize. Oh, here's one. So you have counties pretty much similar to my game or CK3 or whatever. You create armies, you move around, you take you take places. This little outline is this god's, how much their religion has spread, basically. Uh, and this guy's undead. This is undead. Oh, he's playing undead. Crazy ass. Undead is actually really easy. But so he owns this county, but this county is outside of his religion. But anyways, if you are into fantasy strategy games, this one is by far like the king. The only complaint I have is they just keep re-releasing the game, and they say like, oh, it's so updated and blah blah blah, but it's really just the same game that they've added like the most minor changes to. But if you want it, you got to pay $45 for it, and so I stopped buying it. I played Dominions 5. I refuse to play Dominion 6 just because I think it's a scam at this point. Not a scam. Like they don't have a huge audience, so they need to make money, but I think they could have released each little change that they did as DLC. It's not because it's different than Total War because it's turn-based. Like everything is. There's real-time combat, but it's not like you don't control the guys. You set them up ahead of time and do battles, but it's not. I don't know how to describe its differences than Total War, but it's vastly different than Total. Yeah, but it has real-time combat and stuff, and you move in Total War. You move on a map, and then you where your little guys move on the actual map. This is county by county you move. So this is okay. So we have. Did I put 10? No, I have the wrong list. We want to put out. Well, we don't have a list for this yet. So let's go back over here and let's put output goods. And it's going to be output. Let's see if this one needs the thing. Dictionary. Trying to think if their faction resources can be produced here. Like influence and stuff. It actually, and so research. So this is back to a whole other issue, but I think we're going to need both faction and county level resources, because part of this thing, which is what this garbage is like a research place. Now I wish this was in English. This is a warehouse, so it doesn't produce a tangible good. It just produces extra space, and which is what this other code is. And I think though we're gonna put in a non-tangible resource in there in a kind of a weird way. That was my thought process, and so warehouse, that is we'll have to see, but that would be a county level thing. But the research office, which is this one, generates investigation. It's going to generate research, which will be a faction level thing. I'm trying to think. Oh, they could generate money too. Money will be a faction level thing. So yeah, we're gonna have to do both. Yeah, it's crazy, and I don't know what is Dominions 5 cost. Domin 5. Yeah, it's $40. See, this is what I'm talking about. It's they do updates constantly. This, it's basically the same game though. And the people will be very upset that I said that. They'll be like, no, that cycles the new whole thing. But what they should have done, and they've been doing this since Dominions 2, it's basically a minor update that they say is a huge deal, and it's not. They should have went with Dominions 2 and just released DLC for $5 of these changes, and you can pick between them in an options thing. Yeah, it's indie. Uh, let's see. So we are going to need, so input goods is only on a county level. We're going to need a faction output, faction resource data, int faction output. What did I call this? You might, so there's a whole thing, I guess, output goods. And I'm not gonna initialize this just to see if this one needs it. So there's this thing with indie games. There's two different county resource, and this is gonna be county. There's two different money making ways that I've seen. One is, you charge inexpensively for your game and you hope more people buy it. And the other one is you charge out an outrageous amount and you just get the dorks, the strategy dorks, which I'm one of them, buy it. So you sell it to less people. And I actually think that Dominions at this point is pretty well known in the strategy world. There's a Discord that's unofficial for it, and there's all sorts of stuff. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do as a free release on mine. And you're gonna ask for donations or something. But Dwarf Fortress is charging now. But and I think with Dominions, one of the things is like I said, it's one of the best fantasy strategy games ever made. But I think the graphics turn people off because the graphics are so antiquated. But if you for me, I don't give a shit. I love it's fine. I've been playing with these graphics for 30 years. I keep saying 30 years, but I remember playing Dominions when I lived in San Diego, and I've lived in Portland for 20 years. So it's 25 years or something of playing Dominions, and the graphics are fine. So, but I think that turns off people because they're all, people are really into. Look at all my friends, all my friends have it. Because people are very, visually, they need to see the best graphics sometimes. But the pixel art's good in this, whatever. Long story short, I think they could get to more people if they just updated a few things and they didn't charge so much, and more people would play it. But what the fuck do I know, right? Okay, so we're going to have these two new things. We're going to add these factory outputs down here. Otherwise, we will have issues. Where's our inputs? Inputs, where art thou? Right here. So we're going to do faction outputs equals county. Come on, man. Come on, fingers. Oh my god. I do that. I hit the semicolon every time. County equals. And did I do faction first over here? I did. Yeah, I want to do the same exact thing and then have release it for free, and then I'll put out a Patreon or something. And if people like it, they can just pay me. If they don't like it, whatever. And and I don't have any I can't for YouTube, but on Twitch I don't do any of the monetization either because I don't want to blast people with ads, because ads are the fucking death of the world, the death of creativity. So let's run this, except we got to fix something over here because we're going to need two of these. Just like before, we're going to go, this is the county level, so we'll do the county, I don't know, just fuck off, county output goods. And then we'll make a copy of this. Yeah, we're definitely going to be able to make this less of this. And we can probably use that T thing. I'll just have to fuck with it to figure it out. They can review less tickets. You mean uh, tickets as in support tickets. I don't. So since they've been working on the game for so long, I don't think they have support tickets. I don't think I've ever run into a bug in Dominions. Maybe one time. I think one time I was all like, "Holy shit! I found a bug in Dominions." It's like pretty much bugless. It's and you know, yeah. I don't think they do. They don't interact with the public either. It's all unofficial shit. All right, here we go. Let's see if we get these errors for the non-initialized thing, because then it would make no sense. We did. So that makes more sense, but then why didn't the other things get errors? It only happened 5 times. It should, I feel like, happen 10 times. So it gets to this one, maybe just because it croaks. There's already some like really crappy combat in it. Let's hope it still works. You can declare war. Oh, I gotta make this person though. I can't do it because they're moving. Get back in there. Make them a leader. The war is gonna be more like CK3 war though. Get over here. So like over here. Oh, I have a cheat in right now. We can't lose our battles. But yeah, they battle like that. They're gonna do like a morale basing, kind of like CK3. So we'll initialize this one, and then we'll see if the next one croaks. I think it's weird that those ones aren't having. Maybe, I put in that code to test the thing, and maybe that's what it's doing. Is somewhere else. Nope. Um, except that it's county-based movement, not like whatchamacallit. Like, I'm not gonna have like the movement. Like in Total War, how you can like move around and like hide in the trees and shit. Did we get the 5 bugs? We didn't get the 5 bugs. Oh, I haven't opened it yet. Okay, so that makes sense. I still don't know why this one doesn't need to be initialized. I must be doing it somewhere else. I had that test code. Where did I put that test code? That was under all research. It was this stuff, but I thought I did. I commented it out. We can get rid of this crap now. We don't need that. I'm really confused why these ones don't need this, but the other ones do. So the movement's more like any Paradox game, any of the standard Paradox strategy games, EU4, 3, 2, Hearts Iron. Actually, Hearts Iron, it's not like Hearts Iron, because Hearts Iron you can move like little steps. I'm double checking for the 5th time here. Because I was like, is it maybe faction? They don't have it. I don't know why they wouldn't need it. How many lines? Oh, you mean like total number? I have no idea. Who was I talking to? I was talking to Joker. He comes in chat sometime about that offline. What was the... Oh, there was like a video of a guy who upgraded from Godot 3 to Godot 4, and he like the number of lines he had, it was pretty crazy. All right, so we don't have any bugs, but we also don't have any things here for outputs, so we need to put in some outputs. For the Fisher shed is our test here. There's probably something that I could like a program that I could run to count lines. I don't know, maybe they do it on here somewhere, but I have no idea. So for faction resources, this is going to produce, see, we got to be careful and not put in like food. But we'll put in like money or something. It will produce 5 just for this test. And then on this, wait, I didn't do it right. There we go. And then on the county, it's going to produce fish, of course, because like that's. And this number is going to mean something different soon. In fact, I might have fucked up this number now that I think about it. But we'll figure that out in a second. Let's make this a different number. How many lines is your game after 4 years? It must be a bazillion, right? A bazillion. 3,000. Just because you had learned new things, or because of Godot didn't have the workarounds? There was some crazy shit that I was doing. De Niro and Pescado. So this works. This is actually exactly what we want this to look like. I mean, and then we'll construct. Wait. What's going on here? We got a problem here. Let's switch this back to English because I preemptively jumped on the thing here. Yeah, there's I'm not going to do this obviously, but there is some like a tiny part of me that's like, if you started over from scratch, you would do this a lot differently and improve a lot of things. Oh, this is a hiring label. Oh, because I had that hiring thing in there. Got it. Let's go. We're not going to use that hiring thing after all. It was an idea that I decided I didn't want to do. So we can turn this off temporarily. If I delete it, we're going to get a bunch of errors. And I don't want the errors right now. I'm going to put a note in here. Otherwise, I'm going to forget. Remove the whole hiring status /code. Status has been removed. In county improvements data. This is definitely going to be an issue. We're going to get to some of these issues. Got 31 of them, and only 3 of them are in the next round. So, all right, man. Have a good rest of your day or night existence. Thank you for dropping by. I'm going to put this over here. And then we're going to go back to here, go over to here. All right, we're going to ignore the hiring thing for now. We're going to hit construct. And we want these things to show, and so they are showing. It's producing money, fish, wood, influence, construction cost, or these things. This all looks right to me. It's under construction, so we're going to have to wait for it to be constructed, which I think we have this pretty low on the construction cost. And then I'm going to take a break here. I didn't look here, though. We're not done. It will tell us. Maybe we don't have it low. Maybe have it high. We can get rid of this crap, too, here soon. Then we finish some research. Are we getting errors? Probably want to keep an eye on that. Oh, look, we're not going there. I feel like, are we not done yet? Yeah, spamming this with garbage is probably a bad idea. Okay, Fisher Shed 1 has been completed. Assign researcher and research panel. So we definitely don't want that showing up. Goods produced. Okay, so we got our only produced thing. Inputs, we could click this. Once again, this is really hard to see. Produce as needed. Prioritize, produce as needed. So this has to be changed, but we're actually in pretty good shape here. I'm going to take a quick break though, and I'm going to pause my music that you guys can't hear. I'm going to put up my break timer, and I will be back in less than 5 minutes. All right, let's see what we got here. I almost clicked on stop streaming instead of closing the thing there. Um, let's see. There we go. Everything's back and going. So we got to get rid of this assign researcher in research panel. And we got to ask ChatGPT to how to make all of this code less. There's got to be a better way to do this, basically. This too. This researching thing is where we were going to add the one step. So we would be researching and we would get different panels. Man, there are a lot of panels. I'm going to double check. I feel like this worked too well. We have our goods produced. We have this thing. So in producing, we don't need, let's double check. Yeah, I think I was going to do this producing without workers thing. But under producing, we have under construction label, construction panel, hide. So yeah, that's right. We need to hide that researchers thing. Oh, look, we have it. This needs to be here. Yeah, this is very complicated. I think once I want to make sure it's all working exactly right with all the right hiding and showing and stuff, and then we'll ask first. We'll ask ChatGPT first to handle this. Maybe we'll have these generate goods. Like there's like 6,000 of these different things. I don't like that T thing, but I will have to figure it out. I think I don't like it just because I don't understand it yet. But I'm hoping that by the end of today, I've used it one other time, I think. So that should get rid of that. We don't have this button doing anything. We don't have these buttons doing anything yet. We're going to have to link them to some sort of signal. But that's for next week, and it looks like. So what can we do that's easy? Our Fisher shed is currently our only thing testing this stuff. Let's just run this, I guess, and make sure that this is working with that thing we just hit. And then we're going to have to fix the researcher thing. I didn't actually expect to accomplish this. I thought I would be grinding for a while. We could do a couple of things. We have actually a bunch of small things that need to be done too. So we can go through. There's like a lot that needs to be done, basically. Not just for the whole game, just for this little section. This is looking right. We go to under construction, use remnants for construction. That maybe we want that up at the top, but right now shows us everything we need. The descriptions are there, the names are there, prioritizes here. It's under construction. Let's actually change the Fisher Sheds thing though to have less need for construction. Let's go down to 10 or something. And I think we are going to have to change how we do. So one of the things I didn't think about, and then someone mentioned in chat, like, what about things that take longer than 1 day? So at the time, everything produced had a number, like you get 5 a day or whatever. And that changed. I was like, oh shit, I forgot about that. Like if you're building tanks, it's going to take longer than a day to produce one. So we're going to have to change like how the numbers work, I think. Let's run this for a day. And we're going to go back to here. So we have goods produced, money and fish, and the inputs are wood. We're going to need some sort of label actually on here that says that why it's not producing. Like let's say you don't have any wood. I think we're going to just add that as a thing in here. Add a label of why an improvement is not producing, such as not enough wood or resource input, not enough input goods. There we go. Yeah, I'm totally at a loss now on what to do next because I was not expecting to finish this. Finish these 3 things. I thought they would just take forever. Even though I said at the beginning, I was like, we're going to knock some shit out today, but okay. This is done. We did this. We can close this issue. What's next? Add a label. No. Generate all construction cost. Boom, we did this. Whoops, I clicked on the wrong one because it jumped. That's my biggest pet peeve in websites is when they move around. That one obviously is nothing they can do about that, but there's so many websites where you like go to click and the site's still like loading or some shit. Double check the prioritize. So we do need to double check that, but I think our next thing, and so let's put this in here. Make the switch work with research. So this one's a big one, and I like the weekend. I don't remember if it was last weekend or the weekend before. I kind of just like stared at the screen for 3 hours, not really knowing what to do next. And that's when I started making those different statuses. Look at all these fucking things. It's going to be eternity before we're done with this stuff. We did just take 2 of them out, though, I guess. Though that number didn't go down. I guess it was at 33. So what we're going to have here... So this is the thing is... I already know how this thing's getting... Well, it doesn't matter what I was going to say. So under construction... seems to be working. The big thing that throws a wrench into our whole plan is this researcher's office. So its goods produced is actually research, and we put in a research good. So we could try out, we created a faction level thing called research, because I want to have this as simple as possible, obviously. Let's start with that. We can add into the research office here that it produces research. And we'll put in costs and stuff. So it's construction costs are up here for some reason. We'll put faction level construction cost faction level will be influence. And we'll put like a real number in here, 500. And then it's construction and cost at a county level, we'll put in 1 wood again. So these things are not going to, so at this level, they're not going to need a lot of construction stuff because you're not, so like a primitive one, you're not going to be building. In fact, let's get rid of this county level one. It will just cost influence for this. Oh, we need to get rid of this. Get out of here. Have you gotten out of there? No. Good. Okay, so for constructing at these like primitive ones, they're going to be very inexpensive to build because you're just reclaiming some old room, for a research office. You're just finding an old room with dead people in it. You toss the dead people out and you use it. So it's just going to cost some influence for this primitive one. I just thought of a new issue. So on here, let the player choose between influence and money to construct an improvement if their economy allows that. So we haven't gotten to a money-based economy at all in the development of this game, but there is going to be a point in this game where we have money, and there's going to be a point where you have money and influence, so you're going to need to like slowly move from influence to money, a money-based economy. At the beginning, it's all influence. It's just you like saying, hey, buddy, could you build this building for me? And that's what the influence is. What the fuck was I just doing? So we dragged this thing over, so the cost of the building is 500 influence. The faction level output, the input goods is nothing. There's no input goods for I just thought of another thing we need to do. And I'm not sure how we'll do this. If the construction cost inputs or inputs is nothing, then it needs to say none. So if there's nothing that is being built or required for that stuff, if it's like a free building, then go up. Now we're back up to 33 here. A lot of these, I think, once we'll be going through and they'll already be done. We'll have finished them. So back to this, the faction output resource is going to be research. And there's going to be no value. And then we'll have to figure out how that works too. So let's do this and see. Well, I'm looking at chat again, and so he cut off almost like half of his by refactoring everything, almost like half of his stuff. So for resource, so we have a problem down here, and that being, so I had this thing where this was going to just say a word. It was going to say this non-tangible thing. And this non-tangible thing is what it says. It generates research. But then the idea I was having is maybe we want to put in there. So let's do this none thing first, because I think that might lead us somewhere good, hopefully. So how are we going to do that? So with these generation things, generate output goods, let's say, well, it's always going to output something. Well, no, it might not, but we'll deal with that later. Construction cost. So what we need to do is we need to say, like, I wonder if there's a way. Does it tell you if a for each loop is empty? In C#, if a for each loop runs and there is nothing in it, is there a way to tell that happened? I mean, besides like without a null check. Okay, I was hoping it would detect, it would, you know, collection any. What? No, I don't want to do that. What? Look, didn't I just tell you never use var again? I guess it didn't update its memory. What is any? This approach uses links any method, which is efficient because it stops as soon as it finds the first item in the collection. Oh, if it's not any. You can't just say if it's like count is, I guess you could. You could say its count is less than 0. All right, so this is what I think we're going to do. We'd have to do it for both of these. So we would go like if, and it might change this. So if Fanny faction dot count is greater than 0, or stop it. I'm always yelling at myself. That's why I can never work with anyone else. They would all think I'm a total asshole. I wouldn't yell at them, but they would think that I was going to, because I'm always yelling at myself. You dumb piece of shit, type better. Here we go. So we could do this. We could do this the other way, where we just return out of here. So we would do it like this, I guess. If this equals 0, no, that wouldn't work. If they both equal 0, we would go like this. We go, if they're both and these is 0, then we'd have to generate a thing and then return. And this will make sense here. What I'm doing, I think it will make sense if we go like this. Else do that. Yeah, so we're not so pyramided in. We're not so whatever. Then we're going to put in here, though. We're just going to go translate. We're going to need a word here. We might have a word for this. Squigs. What's your problem? You don't like that because it's empty. Then over here, we might have word none. We need this in quotes, though. I swear I've messed with this a bunch. And it's always like some weird, like this will come out, but it won't be translated or some shit. All right, so if these are both, their counts are 0, it's not going to generate a construction cost. It's going to say none there. Hopefully. We can test it easily because we got a lot with none, with 0 construction costs. We should copy and paste this whole thing into ChatGPT, this whole script, and see what it says. Okay, so that's ugly. Because it's inside the grid. So what if we do, if we put it a different, parent for it, what would the parent be? Am I in the right thing? I am in the right thing. Construction cost VBox. It would put it down at the bottom, though. Because it adds it to the bottom, so we wouldn't want it over here. We can add a sibling. That kind of works sometimes. It would be here. Kind of works sometimes. What was the deal with that? I added a sibling with something, and then I ran into issues with it. We add into this child, it would be outside of the VBox grid, so we don't want that. Like if we duplicated this, that's where we want it to be. And so we want it to be right next to this thing. Can we do... I don't remember how add sibling works. I'm going to type it in here if it'll let me... Get the fuck out of here. If it'll let me select this. Moves the added node right below this node. So this actually might work. What we'll do is that construction label, which I don't actually think we have up here because we don't have a need for it, but we might just because construction panel, construction costs. So what we're going to need then, if we're going to do it this way, construction panel container, it's going to be right here. It's going to be private. It's going to export. We're going to do a label with a capital L. And this is going to be construction title. And then down here, there's so much code. There's so much code that we can get rid of. I know it. I know it. Title, is that what I called that thing? It should say label at the end. Okay, so then we'll add that. We'll generate this thing. And look at this. That's strange. What were we doing? Okay, so this would have been in the none area. This imploded something. Yeah, we got some implosions. Oh, I know what the implosions are. We got to go back up. We have a lot of these, man. We have a lot of these. I guess I called it construction cost label. It's just a title, though. And I just remembered why I didn't have this exported. It's because I was trying not to export stuff that I'm not adding to, but we need it to be exported. Which you can do like export, but only show after run or something. Okay, so there's our none that we wanted. And it actually looks pretty good. And this is a button. And first I was like, wait, what's this construction thing? And then this one has influences there. So this actually works. The one bummer is if it's just one item, it has this gap like this. You know, this one works, it looks great, but then down here, I mean, we could do the same thing. We could add a sibling if it's just one. I'm just adding to my list of shit that I have to do. It's never going to end, man. It's never going to end. 50 years from now. If there is only one construction cost or construction costs output or input, then it doesn't need to use the grid. I wonder if we could do something actually. I'm just curious. We're not going to do this the whole time. Let's go back to this. Here's a grid. Do we have, yeah, we have is there an easy way to test this? Yes. If we go like construction material grid, what is that even called? I gotta look. So in a grid, columns is what it's called. Whoops, columns. Columns equals 1. I'm just curious if we can just fuck this up. Like we can change it that easily. We don't need to, we could actually, we could actually not add the sibling thing if this works too. Yeah, we can do that. So why don't we do this differently then? Instead of having this add sibling crap, we'll put this back. Shit, I have it on my clipboard though. We'll go like this. And then we'll copy this. We'll copy this. And there we go. And then let's get rid of this. And let's test this again. Learning new things every day. Hopefully, you know, like I'm always whining about my shitty memory, and hopefully, you know, this doing stuff like this should help improve it. Yeah, so that worked. Yeah. So that's what we'll do. This is going to make this slightly more complicated, though. What we need to do is then have like a thing. What we could do. Okay, so construction, what we could do is have total resources, total goods. And we would go like this, and we would go like this. And we would go like this. Let's put this down here. And we would go like this. And then we would go like this. Zero. Then let's double check our work. I'm not confident anything I do will work, so I just double check it all the time. One day maybe I'll be confident. I don't know. I feel like, you know, I play all these other indie games and stuff, and I feel like maybe part of the problem is they're too confident. You know, like release updates, and they release updates and they're confident on their skills. And then the updates broken. I don't know if that's how it works. Okay, so if this is equal to 0, but if it's equal to 1, if it's equal to 1, then we also need to make the columns equal 1. But we don't need like, we could do an else if, or we could just put an if somewhere. I mean, we can just put an if right here. If total goods is equal to 1, this only happens when it's 1, then we would make this columns like that. I feel like my code is just getting more and more. There's so much code that it probably does not need to be here. I'm almost positive there's probably going to be stuff. There's probably stuff in here that's like always show, you know, like I have all those things like here, show this label, hide this label. There's probably some of them that are always show. Okay, so that worked. Construction cost is down here. I mean, we're going to have ChatGPT look at this. Construction cost, none. Because we're going to do the exact same fucking thing with input and all of that, like this thing. So in input, we really think that there'll never be. Man, I already know that I need to make. God damn it. I have like my nose hairs. My nose hairs interact with my beard hairs right here. And I feel like I'm constantly got something hanging out my nose. And maybe I do. What does this thing say? Okay. Yeah, we're going to be able to make this much, much, much smaller. I already can tell. Because look at all this duplicate shit we got going on here. Maybe I should work on that. I just don't want to do it right now. I just don't want to. And I think we might have to, for input goods, I can't think. I can't think of a reason why you would have faction I'm kind of thinking of a reason right now where you would have faction level input goods, and that's like money. Like you have to pay people to work there and stuff. Like so maybe not pay people, but influence. And I also had this idea where like your influence actually goes like the not the influence, the cost of it constructing it, but the influence of them working there. You would actually have to pay them an influence every day for them to continue to work there, and then they would stockpile this influence, and they would use the influence to get things that they wanted. Like if they wanted whatever apples, they would use it to buy apples. So the people who are always idle, but that would be like a different economic thing. It might as well be money at that point. So maybe we don't want to do that. And then I'm getting sidetracked, thinking about the long term things. But I think we should probably put the faction level stuff here, just in case we ever add a faction thing, because it will break. Um, and then this, oh, it just dawned on me that this is going to happen every time this goes through this loop. This is in a terrible spot. Oh, but we needed it because it wouldn't fit. Or I mean, it doesn't know what the good label is. So we got to fix this. We got to fix all this shit. We got to make this one method that works. We could pass in like we got to into the parent and and we can make this much smaller. There's too many of these things. We got to fix all this crap. I think I'm gonna call it a day though. I'm feeling like we accomplished more than I expected already. So oh, I didn't do this. Because I just fixed it. I fixed it one of these. So let's do this. Rewrite. Or no, I guess it's just not rewrite. It's write a method that adds the container panel. Write a generic method. Look how slow. I'm holding down the left key. Look at how slow that shit is. Generic method that adds the container panel for construction, inputs, and outputs. And you know what? We could do it with the T thing, like Chat GPT said, or we could just have two of them and we just pass in different. No, I guess that wouldn't work. We'd have to use the T thing. Maybe use the T thing Chat GPT suggested. It'd probably be a good thing to figure out. So I've used it, but I don't know how it works, and I'm scared of anything I don't know. So maybe it's a good time for me to actually delve deeper into that. Okay, so we got that on our list. We need to add in make outputs and inputs only use one column if there is only one good. Hopefully I'll remember what that means. Then we're going to also we wrote all that stuff, and it's it's not useless. It's just yeah, this is pretty important. Yeah, we got to do that. Remove the whole hiring status thing. We got to do that. If the construction cost, needs to say nothing. We just did that. Oh, but we did the construction, but we didn't do the other thing. Did I put it back where they probably put it at the bottom. I don't know where I put it. It's just buried in this thing somewhere. Where's our next round? As long as it's above our next round. I guess it's not necessarily true. This is done. We have our outputs in there. Create individual issues for the things that aren't done instead of having this huge issue. These are all done, actually. Well, let's look at this. Besides tool tipping, influence money cost, amount of work cost, use remnants checkbox. So I guess this isn't really. No, wait, it wasn't done. I just wanted to close the window. Add a label of why an improvement is not producing. Remove the whole hiring. Double check the prioritize one of the. Yeah, we need to definitely double check that because I can't remember if that was done. It seems like sometimes they don't prioritize. Tested the goods dictionaries are really copying and not duplicating, or vice versa, duplicating and not copying. Max workers aren't reducing the number of workers. So if you lower the amount of max workers, it should immediately fire them. I think we fixed that, but we need to double check that. In the research office counter, we need to make sure that it shows what it's researching. Yes. Person working at a research isn't showing up in the, I think we fixed that too, but maybe we didn't. I don't think we did. I think we changed something and it broke that. Maybe we don't need to do the hiring settings, so we just do producing. Then we're not doing this. We aren't doing this. Doing the hiring status. We're done with that shit. This is going to be a big thing. Test that checking and charging for county improvements is working. That seems to be working, but I'm going to leave that on there. We'll do like some more tests. Remove improvement. We haven't done that. Pick between improvements. Inputs. No, I haven't done that. Pick between inputs. It's talking about, let's edit this so that it's more obvious. Pick between inputs such as wood and remnants. So sometimes you'll be able to use remnants. Most of the time you will. At the beginning of the game, you're going to use a lot of remnants to construct things, but you're going to run out of remnants, and hopefully by that time you'll have your economy going. Otherwise, you're going to have to go to war to take over other people's shit. That's the whole thing. When starting building, I think I skipped some. If the county improvement keeps track of who's working on it, when it is built, could be a getter and setter, and then when it's marked true, it could just go through the list and remove everybody instead of the dumb shit way we were currently doing it. Ability to remove county improvements. Yeah, there's probably some better way to do that. When something starts building, it needs to be in the left panel. Multiple copies of the same building should fix this. We already did this like ages ago. That's like 100 years old. Hey, we're back down to 31. Where did those ones go that I reopened? I already forgot what they said, so... Are they like in my done area, but just open? They sure are. I wonder if I can pick. That might be a better option than this dumb shit drag. It's actually letting me drag, though. Sometimes it doesn't work. This doesn't do what I'm doing. Come on. There's a lot of these. Nope. I let go of the click when there wasn't a blue line there. I just want it like somewhat towards the top. And back over to here. Where's this other one? You know, another thing that I complain about all the time is how, oh, maybe I didn't reopen it? I thought I clicked reopen. Maybe it went on its own. Oh, there it is. So, like, when I close a ticket, it just, or an issue, it just shoves it in some fucking spot in here. Like, this doesn't make any sense, and I really don't like that. It shouldn't shove it in some random middle spot. Like, look at this is the issue number. It's between these two. It's not between these two. Like, it just shoves it over here. It should put it at the top or the bottom or in order of the issue number or something, but no, I don't know what it does. So maybe we can move this. Move to column. Here we go. This is a much better county improvements. Bam. Go over there. All right. That's much easier than the way I did that. Maybe there's a drop-down list inside the item where you can change state. Max, how's it going? The thing I just did, I was hoping that there was one of those. And maybe you said that, whatever. Yes, we are in agreement, and there was, and hopefully, where to go? Is it at the bottom? The bottom's fine. That's not the one, though. That I remember what it was. As long as it's not in this next round thing. Let the player choose between influence and money. That's a ways off. If the bool is built, is selected in the inspector. Yeah, that's for next round. List of buildings below the county. This is not an issue yet because I think this is a thought that I had. Like, it's not a necessarily we're going to do it or not. What I'm talking about, I don't think this is a good idea now that I'm looking at this. And I'm going to get rid of it if it's, so I think what I was talking about is having a list of buildings down here. So like below or, you know, in between this and this. I kind of like the idea so you don't have to click this thing to look at your list of buildings. But I think, you know, it would be better. Yeah, you know what would be better? Let's go back to this and let's change this thing. We'll say, actually, a list of resources produced by that county in the county info panel. There we go. Would be better. And then let's actually make this an issue. Because I think that's a better thing there. And with that, though, we don't give a shit for this round. List of building built below. Yeah, that's in the population list where it shows which county improvement the population is working on. It should be clickable so that it goes. Yeah, that's definitely a next round thing. We don't care about all that. So wherever that thing went, at least it's over here somewhere. I don't think it was this one. No, it wasn't that one. It's probably just like the other thing. It just shoves it in here somewhere. This one we did the construction cost. We just did that. So let's put this. Oh, this is the one. This is the one we just, yeah, we moved. Yeah, this is it. This is the one. And this is why we want it. We wanted it, if the inputs is nothing, then it needs to say none. That one is the one we want, and it does. It just shoves it in the middle somewhere. Okay, so all of those, so let's close this thing. We don't need our translations open. It does this every time. And I don't know what that thing is. That's just some weird Excel OneDrive thing. I think it's because I don't keep OneDrive open. It gets upset. Let's push this code. Man, how long did that take? That took like 15 minutes, 15 minutes just for me to mess with that crap. And next time, I think next weekend we're gonna, besides fixing the researching issue, we're gonna use this thing. We're gonna definitely make this better. We're gonna write that. Well, where did I put that on my list? Yeah, this is the first thing we're gonna do. We'll make this generic method so we don't have 40 versions of this exact code throughout here. And that shouldn't be too bad. That should actually be relatively easy. Well, except for the T thing. But let's push this code. And what did we do today? So we got all. I need to add another thing on here. We need to add faction resource inputs needs to be added. We have the county level ones, but we need the faction level ones. I don't, like right now, I can't think of a reason why you would have the faction level ones, but I have a feeling that, like I said, maybe we want money that needs to go in there, influence or something. And this is going to go here, I guess. And then we'll do the, no, actually this should go to the top. It actually doesn't matter. This thing will use, these things will use each other. So almost all goods grids are working. I mean, they're all working, but that's all we really did today. But once again, didn't think I would be able to accomplish that today. So that's it for me. I'm stopping 7 minutes earlier than I normally do, but yeah, I'm all prepared for next weekend. We're gonna go through this other stuff, and we're 6 months from getting this thing finished. Okay, maybe not 6 months, 6 weeks. All right, I'm hoping 2 weeks, 2 weekends. All right, but that's it for me. Thank you guys for joining me, and I will talk to you next time. Have a good existence. Bye.